A lot of people, especially single mothers, are people pleasers. And the crazy thing is, even though we're people pleasers, there's nobody pleasing us. We have to do everything ourselves. We don't have any help. And so if there's anybody that you should be pleasing, it should be yourself.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be talking with my sis Brittany. We're going to be talking about how she's been able to be successful as a single mother, a business owner, and more. So tune in. You're going to love this conversation. Let's go. So what's up, everybody? I'm here with my sister, my good friend Brittany Clement. We've known each other for like a long time. We both got started in network marketing. Um, I started network marketing 14 years ago. Ended network marketing 8 years ago, and I met Brittany somewhere in between, like 12 years ago. So we got a
Yes.
lot of history. But I'm super excited because she's been super successful. She's been doing very well. She's a single mom and she's making things happen with literally no excuses. But I don't want to take her thunder. But say what's up to everybody, Brittany.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Joe. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm excited to be here and just really inspire some people, especially the single moms, because, you know, the work that we do just at home is a lot, but you can definitely still be successful outside of that, doing your own thing as well. So thank you for having me.
Hey, no, it's an honor to have you on, sis. I know we've been talking about this for a minute. Just like you talked about, like you're a single mom, but you're not just an ordinary single mom. Like you took taking care of your kids, but you've also taken care of your siblings. Can you just talk about that a little bit, like your whole makeup?
Yeah, and that's also one of the things that got me interested in network marketing, because network marketing was that thing that got us dreaming, right? And
Hmm.
so back then, 12 years ago, I was that single mom. I was 23 years old. I was raising my three children along with my two younger siblings, who were 15 and 12 at the time. And so just taking care of five kids. I was a nursing assistant working 75 hours a week. So never even had time for myself, let alone the kids, but also working so hard, trying to make more money and working 75 hours a week. The government was eating that up in taxes.
Right,
So it's still like I wasn't making as much money anyway. But yeah, it was, this journey has been a journey. It's been a lot of fun moments, but then there's also been a lot of trying moments. And the thing about it is, life happens regardless. And so why not be focused on the things that you want to be working on and doing what you need to do for you and your family to make the situation be better than just complaining about it, because I see that a lot from people, who don't actually go forward and follow their dreams and really make those excuses and say, oh, I can't start my own business. I can't do my own
right,
thing because of these kids. That's the reason why you need to be doing it.
right.
So, yeah. So,
No, but
my
that's
two younger siblings.
but what you're saying that's key. Now, I mean, you jumped right into it. You didn't pull no punches. Like she's a real
Yeah.
businesswoman, y'all. She's a real businesswoman. Not a ton of emotions, so that's what y'all gonna get. Just so you know. But no, but just like you're saying, like being in that position that I remember, like, and I know we're going to talk about a little bit about today, like where you are now, but like, I remember even back then, even in the network marketing phase when we were in, like, we were running high. I don't remember you slowing up at all. Like, you were on it. You were in the charts as well. You were producing, you were making money, and you're still working all of those hours. Now we're going back like 12 and 10
Yeah.
years to
Yeah.
where we're all a lot younger than what we are now. Kids are a lot younger and not as
Yeah.
resourceful as now, and you're still been able to make that happen. Like so, as a single mom, you're starting business, you're getting in the weeds of things and building. Like, what were a lot of obstacles you had? Because I couldn't tell you had obstacles, like based off of like the way you were producing.
Yeah, and I mean, I always been a hustler. I always been that person where I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Since I've been 12 years old, Um, you know, my mom literally told me at that time I really had to start doing things for myself. And she showed me better than she could tell me. I talk about that in my book as well. But that's when, I started doing hair. I was doing whatever I needed to provide for myself and my family since a very young age. And so at that time, 12 years ago, when I came across network marketing, that was like a light for me. That was like, I felt like it was an opportunity to where I could change the situation for my family because I had already been working hard since I've been 12 years old. And so I felt like if I just keep going and keep working a little bit harder, like push towards this dream, eventually I won't have to work this hard. And so that's why I got up every day. And, we was traveling. We was at all the events. Like I didn't miss anything. I didn't care what state it was in.
You didn't miss
I
not
was
one thing.
there. Like, yeah, people thought I lived in Atlanta at the time and I lived in South Carolina. Like nobody knew because I was there every week. And this was on top of my work schedule. And
Right.
I couldn't make any excuses. I knew that if I wanted things to change, I had to make a change. And I just went hard. And I mean, that hard work definitely paid off. It instilled things in me and the children as well. But I will say that it was not easy. I did have family support. And so, like my dad, he would help a lot anytime I had to do something. Like he would be that person I could call, like, hey, I got to go out of town. And he would just stay at my house with the kids. Um, Also, I relied on my siblings for a lot because they were in high school and middle school. My kids were in elementary. I had a 1 year old. I had all of that. And so,
Right.
and at the time, it didn't really feel too good for them because they missed out on things too. Like my brother, he wanted to play sports. He couldn't do that because he was helping me babysit and things like
Hmm.
that. So it took a toll on the entire family, but like
Right.
it was definitely worth it. The way that it worked out, and like there's no resentment anywhere. Everyone is just happy that I never gave up. Like I was the one that just kept pushing, and it's like, yeah, you have to. If you're not gonna do it, who will? Like we always used to say, if it is to be, it's up to me, right?
Right.
And that's how it's always been.
Right. No, I mean that even that brings back a lot of memories because I remember having to, man, because when we traveled like we was gone. I know it was at one point. Um, I was like doing a presentation 4 to 5 days out of the week, and
Yep.
2 or 3 of those days wasn't necessarily in my city, maybe at least 45 minutes away, like always having to be somewhere. I remember traveling, and I remember the stress and the strain. Like people, like I don't travel for business nearly as much at all now. And a lot of
Yeah.
people they're like, well, why don't you? I was like, because there's a
We
time
did that
where,
already.
listen, I had to get a babysitter for the babysitter for the babysitter and doing and for my wife to get off and then make sure that the next day there's a babysitter for the babysitter and you have flights that end up getting delayed and all these different things. So
Hmm.
I really don't like for business purposes. I don't really listen. We can meet on Zoom or whatever. Like we don't really got to travel. So that brings back a lot of memories. But just like you're saying, like you said, you grew up with having to understand that you had to make things happen. You had to be a hustler. And and that's kind of like a mindset thing. Like a lot of
Right.
times when people and if we're talking if we're being real, nowadays a lot of people don't key in on their mindset enough. We have a lot of mental health issues and things like that and a lot of
Yes.
self-care, which is important. In the same instance, people still want to have that success, but they don't take the time to work on the mindset as much as you're a coach, so you know exactly what I'm saying. Like, but
Right.
can you just talk about the mindset? Because I know for me, like I joke about it a lot, but like just over the pandemic, I just got back into watching sports, and I used to play sports, sports fanatic for years. 11, 12 years. I was not watching really much TV at all unless it was CNBC because I wanted to develop my mind. I was reading, I was
Yeah.
growing, getting experiences, failing, learning. And so, can you just talk about the mindset you had to be in as a single mom with all of those things, take care of your kids and siblings, and wake up the next day and keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean, mindset is the biggest thing. That's why I coach it now. um,
Right.
because, like, if you're not right up here, it does not matter how much physical work you're putting in. If you have success, it's not gonna stick. Like, it's not gonna stay. It's gonna be short lived. Like, you have to change your mind. Even like I know you've talked about money and stuff, just coaching money. Same thing. It doesn't matter. You could win the lottery, right? And if you don't have the right mindset, it's gone in a year or two. Like, mindset is everything. And I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the things that network marketing introduced me to, just reading. I never read before that. I was just always someone that work, right? And then when I got in network marketing and everybody was reading, everybody had a book. We always heard leaders or readers. I'm like, okay, well, I need to start reading. And I fell in love with reading. Like, I read way more than I watch TV. Like, when other people are watching certain shows like Power and different things, like, I'm watching that a year later because I'm reading. I'm not saying that you can't watch TV and enjoy life, but I know that that stuff doesn't help me grow. I'm big on personal development and growth. And yeah, just reading the right books. I also only read self-help books. I'm not a novel reader. Like, if I read, the purpose is for growth, right? If I want to read a novel, I'll watch TV. Like, that's how I feel about that. But otherwise, the purpose of me reading is for growth. And there's a saying that says, if you want to keep something a secret, put it in a book, because that's the last place most people are going to look. And if you look at all the wealthy and successful people out there, they all have books. And so here they are dropping clues and hints for other people in these books where you can easily pick it up. But the problem is, most people don't want to take the time and read. But mindset, that is huge. Always start with reading, because you do that on your time. You do that on your spare
Hmm.
time. And that's what I did in the beginning. I just started reading. And one of the first books I started reading was The Secret. The Secret is like my Bible, my law of attraction Bible, okay?
Right.
Because that's what got me head first focused into really believing that I could change the things that I wanted to change in my life for me and my kids. Hence why I'm also a law of attraction coach now.
Right.
But yeah, mindset, man. Mindset is number one. If you don't have the right mindset, it does not matter how much money you make, how much work you put in. Because the thing is, once you develop the right mindset, you realize that it takes more mental work than physical anyway. You could be like, you can have 60-70% mindset and 30-40% physical and still get better results than somebody who goes out and work hard every single day, because
Right.
so many ideas start coming through and being birthed in your mind when you really just have your mind going, when your mind is in the right space. And then when you partner up with people who has that mindset as well, that's when magic really happens.
Right.
So yeah, mindset is big.
No,
I can talk all day about that.
all day. Like you said, a mouthful. Like literally, one of the things, especially like when I'm working with like businesses or influencers, companies, whatever, whether it's a person mindset, whether it's a business organization, culture, environment, which is like a business culture environment of the company or whatever. And a lot of people don't realize like most of their issues that they have, well, what they're trying to do starts in their mind. There's so
Hmm.
much self doubt. There's so much. uh, We can't say nowadays like, oh, get tougher, right? People feel like you say get tougher,
Why
you
not? I'll be
right,
like,
right,
you
right.
better
But
man up.
right. So nowadays you say that people they can't. But like
Yeah.
getting that mindset, getting stronger. Like for example, like you talked about like the law of attraction, for example. Like what most people are trying to do now is they're trying to attract and get attention online, like
Mhm.
social media, but never developing who they are. When you really want to have success, you develop who you are, and now when you I guess in a sense put that out there, you instantly attract people based off of the fact you're actually growing. Like
Yeah.
there's so many different nuances to mindset. A lot of people miss. And so I know for me, mindset has been like, just like you say, do a lot around it, a lot around it. Whereas business, finance is your mindset, like your
But you
concept
know
of
what? Just to touch on that real quick, because when it comes down to social media, a lot of people are chasing the fame, right? A lot of
chasing.
people want the glory and all of that, and they want the money and they want the look or whatever, and then they're not really living like that in their real life anyway.
Right.
But there's another saying that said, it would be a shame if your money grew but you didn't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you have to grow as a person. And that's why when so many people they want to skip parts of the journey, like you can't do that because you're not growing and developing. You're missing certain things. That's
You're
what
missing
gets
it.
you to that place of
That's
success.
it.
And then you appreciate it so much more.
Exactly.
Like,
Well, you know who my business mentor was. That was Dwayne. So one of the first things he taught me, like we're going like 14 years, and this was
mhm,
just about online stuff. He said, you can't skip steps. Don't skip grades. Stop trying to skip steps to get to
mm,
when you need these steps. And of course, I understand that wholeheartedly. But at the time, I was like, man, I ain't trying to go through all that, right?
right.
Like I already had a little success in my life. I ain't trying to go through that. But like literally, a lot of people miss that. They want to get here. They don't want to work on themselves. They don't want people to help them either. Like there's a difference
Hmm.
between real friendship and all this other stuff. A real friend will try to help you. Say, hey, that's work on that. Let's not help you develop. But everybody just wants to get here now. And of course, because they see all this stuff online, just like you said, like most people and both of us know, like we have friends at different levels in all different places, and what you see online is not exactly how it is. And so a
Right.
lot of people get attached to that. So, but that mindset and that grit and working on that interior matters so much. Like it's just like you can say, your money grew, but you didn't. Your money grew, but you're a jerk. Your money grew, you spend too much. Your money grew, you're a bad dad. You're a bad mom. Like it's those perceptions that people have. They don't want to take the time to say, let me work on the inner workings. So it's just like one of the things I know my pastor talks about is like it's not about just getting in the room, but it's about being able to
Mm,
stay in the room. Like your
yes.
character keeps you in the room, not just
Yeah.
about your gift. And a lot of times people they pass over that because that's the part that's that work that's not too cute,
Hmm.
right? You,
Hmm.
you face you, and that was one of the things for me, and why I stopped watching TV was because I need to find time to work on me and my weaknesses. And today I don't do as much, but I still have that growth aspect where I'm always looking for ways to learn. But now it's a little bit more intricate, right? Once you build that foundation, it becomes intricate, and you're a little bit more specific on what you're trying to grow in versus just everything because everything kind of has its own foundation. So, like part of that mindset and building, I'm sure there's also some things you had to put in place, some organization, some systems, like your schedule. Like how's organizing for you being a single mom and running a successful business?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you, I gotta write everything down. I'm gonna forget something.
Right.
I have to keep me a little list of something every day so I can remember because I'll forget and then I go back and be like, what was that thing I was supposed to do? And my kids know that I am very forgetful. Like they got to remind me about stuff from last night. And so, the thing is, as a single mom, your schedule can change instantly. And so at the same time, having a schedule is really like a guideline. It's a basis. You would love to stick to it, but you got to alter that thing when you can. And I'm a huge planner. I am not spontaneous at all. I would love to be, but I'm just not that person because I have so many moving parts in my life that if I decide to do something one day, then that means something else moves around. And so I have to just really schedule it. I gotta put it down on my calendar so I know what I'm doing, what day, and that's really what works for me. But I make sure I tell other people who are in my life the same thing. Like, listen, this is the type of person I am because I have 3 kids. I'm running businesses. I have so many different things that I'm doing that my time is already allocated to. And even when it comes down to, if you're working a job on top of that, you know what your set work schedule is. And so if you're an entrepreneur, why don't you have a set schedule as well? But I will say there has been like a lot of times where, late nights, early mornings, where I got to find time and put that extra time in to do certain things, especially if my schedule got altered based on, the different things I had going on throughout the day. Now, when it comes down to systems, automations are your best friend, because especially when you're someone like me who's what I would call a solopreneur, like I do everything myself. I don't have a team. I'll get there. I'm one of those people. I like to be hands on, and I ain't ready to give up that trust yet. I'm not ready to hand things over and delegate just yet. So
Right.
I like to handle as much as I can. And so, yeah, having systems and automations in place if you're a business owner makes your life so much easier. Just, all my email blasts, my text blast that goes out, like just all of that, even down to my social media content. I batch record my content a week to 2 weeks in advance, and then I schedule it. And so it's going out, and I make sure I stay on top of it and monitor it, of course. But I literally use my time, and I make time for everything in my life. I make, okay, this time is going to be for the kids. This is time for business. This time is for myself. This time is for my man. Like, I schedule everything because I'm going to make sure everybody gets their time. This is the time to travel, and then what that does is it does free up certain times for me. I'll have certain days where things are open. I'm not making my schedule jam packed to where I don't have that time. And so, yeah, when I want to do certain things, I'm
Hmm.
able to do that if I want to be spontaneous. But other than that, I have a schedule, I stick to it, and I have automations in place so that way it's not taking me so long to do small, minute tasks that a computer can do.
Absolutely. Automation is, man, especially in the time we're in now, automation, and now you got AI. Whole other conversation. But
Whew.
I mean, listen, some you don't have to think as much, but that's great. Like I know one of the things that because we both, just like out before network marketing, I did, business and stuff like that. So I get it. I grew up having understanding how to hustle, things like that. I grew up in the neighborhood, right? So you know how that go. But like we came through a process where even there was, little things used to be like, you sleep when you're dead type of things, right? Stuff like that,
Sleepers for
right?
suckers.
Right. All
Remember?
that stuff, right? Which in a sense you get the notion, but then also we need to get some rest. So
Yes.
you understand scheduling and putting time. Like for me, like Friday through Sunday is kind of like a time where it's like it's me, it's family, or I might not really be doing anything. Like we've been getting in the garden recently. Like listen, and going out there tinkering like I was yesterday or whatever. But if you try to reach me about certain nuances Friday through Sunday, I don't have much for you. I'll talk to you on Monday. And like just kind of building that schedule to try to put things in perspective. Of course, everything isn't perfect. We got 4 kids, so that means that's 4 different schedules and 4 different whatever can happen in the midst of a day or
Right.
a week. But definitely trying to keep a schedule. I write a lot of stuff all the time too. I have notes everywhere, but I write stuff down to kind of schedule, and then I put in my calendar using automation, using systems that go between my computer, my phone, things like that. I'm kind of a solopreneur like yourself. Like my issue is I like doing a lot of stuff that I do for myself because
Right.
like I don't want to give it away. Just I kind of like that
Exactly.
because it's especially like editing videos and stuff like that. I like editing my own videos. Like so.
Yeah.
Um, One of my friends was like, "Let me know when you need help editing videos." I was like, "I like editing my videos." So, but
Right.
but no, I totally understand and agree. Like, just be able to set that schedule and that precedence, and then being okay with sometimes not being able to do certain things because this is how things are set. This is how I
Right.
run my life. This is how I'm not going to be swayed because
And having boundaries.
boundaries. Absolutely. Because during the pandemic, I enjoyed the not like I learned a lot through the pandemic, right? One of them was, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we did like outside our home, for example, and especially in our backyard, stuff like that. Renovated our own kitchen, stuff like that. And doing it, I was like, man, we could have been did this. But because we're ripping and running so much here and there, schedule being torn apart, you don't ever have the time. And so that just showed me like, man, like I don't want to go back to that, like being all
Right.
over the place. I'm fine. I think I'm gonna just keep building on my schedule and going that way. And it's been great and I enjoy it. I don't necessarily need to see everybody all the time. So I'm good with that. But to each his own. But yeah, so like with those type of things, like especially in your business, you work with a lot of people, especially a lot of women who have kids, married,
Hmm.
not married, in relationship, not relationship, divorce, etc. Young kids, old kids. What are some of the things, or why do you think like it's one of those things where sometimes people have a hard time of saying, I or believing they can still be successful? What are some of the obstacles you see that constantly are in front of people? Like just trying to be successful, in particular single mothers. What are
Hmm.
some suggestions you have for being able to get over that?
I would say stop trying to be everything for everybody.
Oh,
Like, you need to focus on what's most important right now. Like I say, make time for the things and the people that matter the most right now. Like, just really prioritize. A lot of people, especially single mothers, are people pleasers. And the crazy thing is, even though we're people pleasers, there's nobody pleasing us. We have to do everything ourselves. We don't have any help. And so, if there's anybody that you should be pleasing, it should be yourself. Now, it took me a long time to understand that, because I was just someone like a big heart, caring, just want to help everybody in any way that I can. But I had to realize it was holding me back, because we only got 24 hours in a day. There's so much that we can do for ourselves and our families and our dreams and goals. But then when we got so many other people pulling our attention and helping them do things, like, we end up lacking. And so, a lot of people, they want to, hang out with their friends and do this and that. But it's like, when you're focused and you're trying to grow and build a business and just focus on the future, like, you got to be head down. Like, you can't be all about everybody else, because, to be honest, they are not going to be that person for you if they were in the same situation. And so, yeah, it's really about prioritizing what's most important. And even on top of that, when it comes down to the kids and to the family, you got to have a conversation with them. That's something I did early on. I let my children know these are the goals. This is what we're working on. There's some things we're not going to be able to do. Understand that we might not be able to go to Disney World this year. We might not be able to do this thing, because this is what I have to focus on. This is where the money is going. And I always have deep conversations with my kids, because I want to instill certain things in them so they understand as an adult. But they don't understand this grind, because nothing was handed to us, right? And they respect it so much. Like, they know when I'm working, they're in their room. They're doing this and that. Like, they get it. Like, and the thing is, they know the reasoning behind it. That's why. It's not like, oh, mama working, I can't be in her face right now while she's doing this and that. It's like, mama's working, so we can be able to do X, Y, Z. Like, we create goals together. And it just works collectively. Anybody else who can't understand that, then I don't see a point of having them in my life. If you can't respect the boundaries that I put in place as I'm working towards the dreams and goals in my family. And so, I think that's really what it comes down to.
wow. Well, I didn't say it. She did. So that when you say stuff like that as a man, people get at you because like I know we were joking before we actually started recording. Like, I listen, like my story of how I had to grow business I was at home with the kids because I got laid off from my job and I'm growing a business. And then we got one child and we got two, and then we keep going on having more kids. But building a business at home and like, I think all those things you said are really good. Like it shows a lot of structure. Like, especially like when you're talking about like, you're not just, you're talking to your kids about, listen, I want you to understand why. Like, do you remember like how was you, we used to build like a vision board with the kids? Like,
Oh yeah,
what's
we still do that.
right? Like, what are some things you want and stuff like that's a good activity. Like being
Yeah.
able to actually, bring them into the process so that they can see, what's going on and things like that. I know, like with my oldest son in particular, like sometimes if I had to meet a client and there was something going, like they needed to, there's this commercial being shot and all those stuff, whatever the case is, I'd bring them with me. Or like when I've had
Yeah.
to speak at different conferences and events, and I'd bring them with me and things like that, so he could see like what daddy's doing, just to kind of give a
Hmm.
little bit more understanding. And but now he's 13, and some of the stuff that I do, he's been learning that stuff on his own and doing it himself. Especially working around the technology and the marketing aspects of things and things like that, production and things like that. He's actually working around that stuff. And some stuff he did, he didn't even say anything. So I decided I wanted to do this, and I signed up for this at school, and I'm helping the whole school do this. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And so those things matter a lot, and getting the whole family involved. It's just like when people ask, how can they actually be, successful financially, especially when we talk about investing and things like that. It's like, well, especially if you don't know how to teach your kids, well, you do it together. And I think that's absolutely huge. But that's man, that's good stuff. Be Clement, I love it. So with that, like as you're seeing women start to, or in your sense, you start to help them break that down, right? Break that
Hmm.
process down, starting to, unravel their mindset. And like I've seen testimonies like that, some women have had and how they, thanked you and things like that. So I think that's, that's great. And I think it's awesome that you're able to hone in on those different things and then give them, to other people. So if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about what your business like, because we talk about it, right? The that
Right.
you help coach people, and I understand like what you do. And I remember sitting on one of your lives, and I was like really, like I was excited, I was proud. I was like, look at Brittany. But everything you were doing was from like a very foundational, like strong, just helping people to
Yeah.
get their mindset, where it needs to be, or at least in that process. And on top of that, you keep God first, and I love that.
Oh
So
yeah.
like, so yeah, just share with the people a
Absolutely.
little bit about what's going on and a little bit about your business.
Yeah. And so, it's funny because network marketing was that foundation. And it's
Hmm.
like, I praise people who are still in it. We passed that stage now
I'm
because
good. Yeah.
we had our run. But like it really was the foundation. It got me to just believe bigger. And with the personal development, we actually have, they instill personal development in network marketing. They had the speakers and all that came in, and so all of that laid the foundation for me. And so what happened was, as I realized I was good at speaking from doing all these different presentations and all that, and other people wanting me to train and present to their teams and all that. Like once I was done and burnt out with network marketing, it was like, I got a voice. That's how I felt. Like I got a voice and people like my voice and people like the things
Yes.
that I can
Right.
say. And I can move people without touching them. Like that was my thing. Like, cause I was always the closer at the end of the presentation.
Right.
And so, and everybody signing up. And so I'm like, I can talk to people, but I love helping people to like focus on their dreams and start new businesses, which is why people were joining network marketing. And so once I was done with network marketing, I was like, I want to be a speaker. I want to be a professional speaker.
I
And
remember.
so I just put everything in place and started calling myself a speaker. I'm like, I'm a speaker now. I hired speaking coaches. I developed my brand. I started doing everything because I'm like, I want to take this to another level. I really want to help everyday people
Mhm.
understand that they can literally live the life of their dreams, whatever that is for them, like whatever it is, right? And especially through entrepreneurship. Now, of course, there's people who are not entrepreneurs and still living the life of their dreams, but that's what they want, and that's great for them. And so that's when I launched my business as a speaker, an inspirational speaker. I work with Lisa Nichols. Hence I got the book actually right here, her book. But yeah, I worked with her, and I was always big on the law of attraction as well. And so that was one of the things that I was talking about, and just really getting in people's mind and helping them to see things from another perspective and how they can actually just change their life, because the law of attraction changed my life when I first got into network marketing, just reading The Secret. And so, also, in addition to that, I wanted to share my story with people. I wanted people to understand that you can literally come from nothing, a hard life, and just really make everything for yourself. And that's when I became an author, just to share my story, really to inspire people. And I wrote my book, Statistic to Success: How to Overcome the Obstacles of Life. And so, um, first it was speaking, and then it was writing. And when coaching with Lisa Nichols, I worked with her on speaking and writing to develop that. But as I continued to study the law of attraction, because I had been studying it for years, and I've seen that I personally had manifested certain things into my own life, I had other people throughout the years that had asked me questions like, how did you do that? How did you do that? And so I would just tell them different things. I'm like, it worked for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you. And then it started working for them, right? And then it turned into this thing where more and more people wanted to learn more about the law of attraction from me. And so during the pandemic, that's when I actually created my course. I have a course called Heaven on Earth, and also the 21-day prosperity challenge. And that's what I focus on now. I still speak. I still do have different speaking engagements. Still got some more books in me that I'll write eventually. But now my main focus is being a law of attraction coach, where I work with women who are just tired of working hard to get the things they want out of life, to just be able to help them change their mindset, welcome prosperity into their lives, and just really live life on their own term by leveraging the law of attraction. And so that's where I am now. I have helped so many women. I have clients internationally. I have so many clients in the US. I have clients that are doctors, single moms, nurses, people in the military, entrepreneurs. Even with them, I help them to start their businesses as well, because a lot of women, especially single moms that come to me, they know that they have a dream, they want to do something, but they don't really know what that is. And so I also help people to discover their purpose during that time as well, and just really birth a whole new life for them that they desire. So that's where I'm at.
Wow, that's was a we got to put some applause in here for you real quick. No, I now listen. We can't just end on that note, because now I'm gonna put all the stuff she's saying in the description so you can find that. But one of the things, like you're talking about the law of attraction, you're talking about manifesting. Like I don't, so people understand. If you're listening to what she said and what she's been saying through this process, is not like hocus pocus stuff. Like there's a level of work that's happening. You're working on your mindset. You're getting in position. It's just like with, if we talk about like just the mindset, like there's a poverty mindset, and
Mm-hmm.
poverty mindset has a language. There's a wealthy mindset, right? Or a successful or happy or peaceful mindset, whatever. It all has its language. Everything has a process to it. And so that whole thing of the law of attraction, because I know some people get weirded out and thinking that it's some hocus pocus stuff. It's no, it's centered on you
Right.
becoming who you need to become. It's centered on, instead of being a person that's like always having to chase money, is when
Mm-hmm.
you learn to make the money chase you. Well, how does that work? It's because you become more valuable, or what you have to offer, or who you are, or what you bring to the table, or what you're putting out there. And because of that, especially if we're talking about business, people will buy from you. They will buy their weakness, right? What they don't want to do, don't have time to do. They will buy from you to learn what they haven't learned, or don't feel like they need to go through 10 years to learn, and learn from you in like, 6 months or whatever. There's different nuances to that. And so what she's saying is like, that what she's been able to do has been able to become that. And when you see successful people and you see people you're watching online and all the success that people are having, is because they've been able to do go through that process. So that's absolutely amazing.
And one other thing I want to add to that too is also just really getting in alignment with God,
Hmm.
because the life that He has for
Absolutely.
you is available to you. If you're not experiencing it at this time, you just got to tap in. You got to get on that frequency. Like everything I do is faith based. I always tell people that, I grew up in the church, I'm Christian. And so that's the foundation. A lot of people, when they hear manifestation, I've heard people say, oh, that's not of God and all that. It's all throughout the Bible. You just got to know how to
Hmm.
interpret it. Right. And
Right.
that's where I come in. I've done the work. I know all the stuff. And so it's like, yeah, it's just really getting in alignment, because I mean, everything is energy. And, what God wants for you, you should want for yourself as well. And if you can just get that to match up, it starts here in the mind, but then you do have to put the work into. You still got to follow through. Like I said, mindset is probably 60 to 70%, but faith
Right.
without work is dead. Faith without
Absolutely.
work is dead. You still got to put work in. Things are not just going to fall in your lap. It's not that hocus pocus. You got to work on you. And that's the hard part that people don't want to do. People don't want to get in their head. They don't want to work on them. They just want to see results.
Right.
And then when it doesn't happen that way, they give up. It don't work like that.
It don't. It absolutely don't. And nothing. We could probably talk about this for like just that alone for like a whole another hour. But so we may have to do a part two down the line or something like that. But I do want to appreciate you for coming on, sharing your thoughts. I know this is going to bless somebody. Definitely going to bless somebody. And so I definitely appreciate you, sis. So with that being said, guys, hope you guys have enjoyed. If you like this, share it. Outside of that, see you guys around. Peace.